Hello and welcome to this lecture on Adobe Illustrator by Eduonix Technologies. This is part 1 of 2 of the pen tool. In this section we'll be going over the basic features of the pen tool, how to draw curves, manipulate them, and a lot about anchor points as well. The next section will be the pen tool and the pencil tool, some of the more advanced functions of the pen tool, and just about all you need to know with the pencil tool. And let's just get started. Turn pixel preview off because I don't have smart guides come up with pixel preview on. I don't think that's always been the way it is, but I'm just doing it now so that in case you're having the same problem, I want to turn pixel preview off. Anyway, I have the pen tool out. If you can't see the pen tool, it's this third row down on the left. It's also shortcut key P. So with it out and selected, I'm going to just click. The first segment is laid down. And let's say I'm going to make a shape that is at least using all right angles. I can do this using smart guides. It'll tell me where the next line's going to be. So that's going to snap into directly across, making a perfectly 180 degree line parallel to the top and bottom of the page. I'm just going to keep on holding shift and you can basically get an idea of how it works. Every time I click, it just lays down a new anchor point and connects a line to the last anchor point that I clicked. Here I can see that's the corner I need to click on to be in line with this top point. Now if you look really closely, you can see the little circles popped up below the pen tool. And when I click that, it'll complete the shape. So now this is a complete shape. As you see, let me zoom in here since I'm working such a large screen. And so basically pen tool creates anchors and connects them. So let's take a look at something else the pen tool can do. When I click before I let go, you can see the segment that, as it will be laid out, is blue. If I were to let go, that blue would become the existing segment. If while I'm still holding it in, and I'm holding in shift as well, if I drag upwards, you can see these two little lines come out from the center of the anchor point. Those are called handles. They can be manipulated afterwards and also as I'm doing this. They also follow the constraint angles that you set up in the preferences dialog, which we're still on default, so that's 45 degrees. So you can see the higher I drag this, the longer I drag them, the longer I make the handles, and the more the curve comes out from the point where I'm making it. So I'm going to let go right here. Now, if you notice there's two handles, this handle right here controls the next curve that's going to happen. This one right here controls the curve that you see. I'm going to finish my shape. So I've completed my path up here. If you didn't see it, there was a little circle that popped up, like I said, and that means that when you click, you're going to complete your path. Something to know about creating a shape with the pen tool: if you click undo, it only undoes the last segment. It doesn't undo the whole shape. So this is very handy in that some of your shapes are going to be huge. You're going to have hundreds of anchor points. When you really start to learn how to just move really quickly with the pen tool. So, and since Illustrator has a virtually infinite undo history, you can go back any number of places in your creation with the pen tool. So you don't have to really worry about making a mistake. You don't have to scrap the whole thing. So it took me back to here. One undo from completing the shape took me back to here, where I just created my first curve by dragging the cursor after I clicked this anchor point right here. Now, if I go a little bit up or a little bit down from the anchor point with this cursor icon, the one that pops up when you're over an anchor, the little caret, it will actually trim off the next handle that I have. So that way, if I were to complete my shape from here, it would just be a straight line. Because obviously you're not always going to want a handle on both sides of the anchor point. If I were to finish this right now, it would be a very smooth curve. You wouldn't be able to really tell where the anchor is. So let's take a look at some more what the pen tool can do aside from anchor points. Although now is a good place to take a break and to look for yourself at what you can do with the anchor points and try dragging around. Try this technique as well. One more technique for manipulating anchor points. Normally, if I were to drag one, and this is with my direct selection tool or the white arrow key, if I were to drag one, it's going to drag the other. So before I click this, just with it over the handle, making sure the smart guide indicate that, I'm going to click, or actually hold down Control and Alt. That's Command and Option on Mac. And now I'm going to drag my handle, and I can drag it independently of the other one. I can even release Control and Alt or Command and Option right now if I wanted to. So this also obeys constraint angle like everything else. So when I'm holding in Shift, I can get a nice right angle with these two handles, which is going to create this shape. So, like I said, now's a good time to stop the recording and just try out some stuff with handles and try drawing some shapes with pen tools using what you know about smart guides and everything else before we get into some more of the advanced functions of the pen tool. So I've already created the shape. It's a whole shape, and I'm going to pull out the pen tool again. As you can see in its resting state, the cursor is just an X. I'm going to go over a segment. It's going to pop up with the Add Anchor Point tool. So I just added an anchor point, and I just selected it with the direct selection tool. This is a good way to edit your shapes after you've created it. Similarly, and this is all I've explained this all before. I just want to go over it again. If I want to delete anchor points, I simply just hover over them with the pen tool. This isn't special or anything. Although by pressing the minus sign, I can get the just subtractive version of the pen tool. Or if I press the plus sign, this is on the keyboard, I get the add anchor point only version of the pen tool. But I find that that's not very useful unless you're just adding a lot of anchor points or subtracting a lot. If I just wanted to put a bunch of anchor points here, now I'm starting to draw my own shape. If I just want to put a bunch of anchor points here, any of them will do, any of the tools. But if I wanted to subtract these all really quick, and now we're trying to use the regular pen tool, the adaptive version, holding it over the anchor points, so I'm going to miss, and I'm going to be putting in new anchor points as I go down. So a much easier way to do this is to select them all, and you go up to Path, remove anchor points. Before I click this, I want you to look at everything you can do in Path. But I'm going to go ahead and click it, and that'll actually end this segment of the pen tool. In the next segment, we're going to take a look at some of the more advanced features of the pen tool, as well as the pencil tool. So thanks for watching.